First of all, I would like to thank you once again, especially the Vice Chancellor of SP University and Professor Sudarshan sir for giving me this opportunity to talk about this sustainable farming practices, which we have been following from nearly 4 years in this wonderful platform and talk being hosted by SP University. So today I would like to throw some light on how we can, achieve a sustainable farming practices using aquaponic methods. My name is Mamta, and I founded Hydrilla in the year 2017. At Hydrilla, we work with core research and focus on hydroponic systems, manufacturing of aquaculture, aquaponic systems, in establishing urban farms, semi-commercial to large-scale farms. So we specialize in the research of various equipment like filters, biofilters that come to use in aquaponics, then the making of the hydroponic systems and the nutrients to achieve maximum crop yield and nutritional aspects actually. So we also support farmers by imparting the skills necessary so that the farmers can embrace these new technology and farming methods and take a step towards these sustainable farming practices. The main earlier the last speaker had thrown some light on very important aspects on the problems that need to be addressed. One of them, the very few things even I would like to throw light on is the growing population. Actually, the world population is reaching almost 10 billion, the forecast by 2050. But at the same time, even today, there are already many issues with malnutrition and low immunity, where we have some statistics published which show that mostly 200 million people only in India are undernourished actually. Apart from that, there is a scarcity of arable land, and then there is the water bodies are polluted with the decreasing water table, the hardness of the water, the usability of the water for agriculture, the quality has come down. So apart from this food industry itself, we have to pay attention here that food industry itself accounts for almost 17% of carbon emissions and 70% of water usage when it comes to agriculture. So if we have to keep producing food, which is mandatory and for the life on this planet to continue, we should take advantage of the technology. We should embrace all possible sustainable farming practices to keep going. In that front, hydroponic, aquaponics, and these vertical farming methods bring a very huge prospect. Already we are seeing that the hydroponic market globally, it is growing at almost like 18%. The aquaponic market is also picking up and expected to grow by like 15% by 2025. What are the major factors fueling this growth? Because people are like seeing the changing climatic conditions. Since I'm talking about aquaponics, I would also like to put your focus on especially people who consume the meat products and non-vegetarian consumer segment already know that among all the food options available, fish is the most excellent option when it comes to the fulfilling the protein requirements while keeping the fat levels low. So this helps a lot in the health aspect and nutrition of the children. So, however, we know that the marine fish production again is depleted. India is second in globally in fish and aquaculture. However, there is a global scarcity of healthy aquaculture products. The water bodies are again polluted. The waste management practices which are necessary in aquaculture is being done, that are not being followed well, but instead traditional fish farmers are using a lot of antibiotics and all these products to maintain the fish health, instead of addressing the root issue of waste management. By using these excess levels of antibiotics and preservatives in the food, there are a lot of heavy metals the fish is ingesting, and which is then passing to us consumers. So all these problems are the kind of future prospects actually we can address with better management practices. So in that front, what hydroponics gives is very high nutritional value and healthy produce. It is a precision farming method, so there is no overuse of the nutrients to the plants. It is done in a very calculated approach. We bring control of all the climate parameters into the farm, so that we can avoid crop damages because of intermittent storms or any other change in the weather. We can minimize the damage which comes because of pests and insects, because of which we totally avoid chemical pesticide usage, and can totally do the farming using organic farming or dumped into the nearby canals or ocean bodies. That is not a proper way of waste management. But whereas when it comes to the plant growing perspective, this particular waste is actually a nutrient for the plant. It can become a nutrient for the plant actually. So by doing this kind of hello, is everyone able to hear me?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. What we are doing is we are replicating this kind of an environment in a farm where we grow fish in a aquaculture fish tank. We take out all the pump out the entire fish waste, but instead of throwing away that water, what we do is we capture that fish waste, convert it into a nutrient for the plants, and divert it into the hydroponic systems where the plants can absorb and grow using that nutrients. So this is a very simple bacteria involved ecosystem, totally organic approach for growing fish and plants together with minimum usage of water. That is what aquaponics is going to give you. 100% free of chemicals and fertilizers. With such kind of a promise, when in conventional fish farming practices, at the most per acre, a farmer can grow around 5 tons of fish in a cycle, whereas in aquaculture, embracing these technology and farming practices, the production can go up to 50 to even 60 tons per the same given acre, while minimizing the water usage and also parallelly feeding a crop without spending on any external nutrients or anything. So how do we do this? There are various ways the systems are done. I would like to throw light on the traditional recirculating aquaponic system. What are the some advantages and disadvantages with it, and what is the latest technology available, which is the multi-loop aquaponics. So in recirculating aquaponics, as you can see in this picture, it's a very simple aspect of making a farm. You have fish tanks where the fishes are growing in the bottom tank, and from there the waste, which is the nutrient solution, goes to the plant beds, and then the purified water comes back to the fish tanks actually. So there can be one or more multi-layered tanks. There will be a filtration system to take the fish waste, and then there is a biological system where we are actually cultivating or growing the bacteria to kind of break that fish waste into very small minerals which can be absorbed by the plants, which are growing in hydroponics. Now, what are the major factors involved in this recirculating aquaponics? Is there should be a very tight balance between the amount of fish in the system and amount of plants in the system, because how much ever waste is released by the fish, that has to be totally consumed by the plants. Otherwise, the waste, unconsumed waste, comes back to the fish tanks, and that will spoil the health of the fish. The same applies to the other way around. Whatever fish waste is released, that should be sufficient for the growth requirements of the plant. So if the count of the fish is less and if the fish waste is insufficient, the plants cannot grow well. So how do we address these kind of an issues? The technology which is being adapted these days, a lot of universities like University of Arizona, University of Virginia have been researching on this multi-loop aquaponic system from last few years, and this technology is providing a very good promise. So in here what we are doing is we are separating the aquaculture part and hydroponic part, in the sense the tight integration between the two systems is removed actually. So what we do is the water from the solids and the fish waste, which is removed from the fish tank after passing through the biofilters, and it is mineralized by the bacteria in the biofilters, it is diverted to a different reservoir which is maintained for hydroponics. So, and a part of the water goes back to the fish tanks. What are we achieving with this is we are removing the tight balance involved in a multi-loop aquaponic system. Now, what happens is, say for example, there is a problem in maintaining the fish farm. Yeah, the hydroponic farm need not stop its operations. What we can do is we can add hydroponic nutrients in the hydroponic reservoir for the time being until the aquaculture part comes back, and still keep growing the plants. Yeah, the same goes the other way around. Even if the hydroponic plants are insufficient to completely consume the fish waste, the waste can still come to the reservoir and it can be diverted to other composting units in making of vermicompost or any other mechanism, but it doesn't go back to the fish tanks actually. Yeah, this way the scalability aspect, aquaponics has been there with us from a long time. However, it was not embraced rapidly at the same speed as how hydroponics was adapted actually. These days we see a lot of people starting hydroponics, which is a very good sign of the progress in farming. However, aquaponics is the offers a better and I can say the best promise when it comes to sustainability aspect, and also for a farmer from revenue angle, it is like with the same resources but double the revenue, because the farmer is growing both fishes and plants and sending two produce sources to the market. However, still the aquaponic is not embraced so much by the farmers as hydroponics, because there were some scalability issues with the traditional recirculating aquaponic system. So what we have realized is multi-loop aquaponics is an answer to those issues. Now the scalability can be achieved. Even with respect to nutrient management as well, there is a conception that the nutrient that comes from the fish waste is not sufficient enough for the plant growth requirements. Again, I would like to throw some light here that we manage through the best farming practices, giving a very excellent high protein feed to the fish. What this ensures is the fish biomass and the nutritive value value of the grown fish is also very good, but the value of the minerals that come out of the fish waste also will be very much sufficient for the growth of the plants. Even if there is a deficit, mostly in our research, what we have seen is at the most some two or three varieties of nutrients in micronutrients like iron, then calcium and potassium might fall short, and those can be supplemented using hydroponic nutrients. Here, now the supplementing can be done easily with multi-loop aquaponics because the hydroponic reservoir is separate. That synthetic nutrient doesn't go back to the fish tank. Earlier, with recirculating aquaponics, that was not done. When it comes to the fish feed as well, in the given hydroponic farm itself, a small section can be used to grow variety of a fish feed like algae, spirulina, azolla, duckweed. So look at the sustainability aspect. There is no input or any external input coming out into this farm in a sustainable aquaponic farm. The fish feed, the plant feed are growing together in the farm itself. The fish and plants can be harvested and sent to the market without any external inputs. So there's a lot of saving when it comes to the inputs for the farmer as well, and not mentioning the water saving as well. So and the scale of the aquaponic systems actually using the multi-loop aquaponics, the smallest system can suffice for a family of like say 3 or 5 people, in the sense that this family need not buy any vegetables, or when it comes to non-vegetarian food resource like fish from the outside market. In just some 200 or max 200 square feet space available at the home itself, such systems can be installed. As you can see in this picture, there are 2 fish tanks, each just 1,000 liter capacity, small filters which are doing the job of taking out the fish waste and growing the bacteria. And these filters fit in just a few square feet space. The same with the hydroponic plant beds also, which consume just a few, around some 100 square feet space or so, but can grow vegetables required for a family of at least some 3 or 5 people. At the same way, the scalability goes up to even acres actually, where we can have around some where we can have around some 3 lakh or 5 lakh liters of fish tanks, 3 lakh or 5 liters of fish tanks, growing tons of fishes, and supporting at least some 3 to 4 acres of hydroponic farm production in commercial aquaponics. So apart from this, what are all the other parameters that go into making of such aquaponic farm is close monitoring of various parameters, especially the parameters that are required to be closely monitored are the water quality parameters and the climate parameters to support the growth of the plants. When it comes to water quality, we have to take care of the good pH of the water, the TDS of the water, then the dissolved oxygen levels are very important for the fish. We have to bring in oxygen generator which takes care of this aspect. Then for the plant monitoring for the in the greenhouse, we have to implement greenhouse solutions which can closely monitor the temperature and humidity in the farm, which are very important to minimize the pest and diseases entry in the farm and keep the plants healthy. Early detection, which helps in controlling the disease using organic measures. The farmers need not resort to chemical pesticides. In our farms from the past 3-4 years, neither for the fish disease management nor for the plant disease management we have ever used any chemical forms of pesticides or medicine or anything. With proper equipment and crop monitoring itself, a sustainable, healthy farm can be achieved. And this is very important. These days, I would like to tell that every food, whatever we eat, we are bothered that either, like the fish is loaded with some antibiotics which have turned out into heavy metals by the time we ingested, or the plants are sprayed with too many chemical pesticides, which again we are ingesting, impacting our hormones, our health, our immunity. So all these issues can be achieved, solved using these farming methods. For just a small, brief idea, I have listed some crops that can be grown using these farming methods, which we have been growing from a long time. So saying that, I would like to see that, we are working with this vision to take this technology to more farmers, reach out to more people, prepare sustainable farming procedures, and train the farmers on this. Saying that, I would like to conclude my presentation. Once again, thanking the SV University platform for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.